Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Scream, the spookiest cocktail hour on YouTube, brought to you by Burton and Burton.
Not Tim. That's right, where we dive into the spookiest corners of horror while sipping on some drinks. Tonight's movie is The Watchers, starring our girl Dakota Fanning. And the drink inspired by the movie is called
The Green Fairy.
The Green Fairy. Let's go. Cheers.
It's a special one. Catch the ingredients at the end of the video.
Stick around. Let's get into it.
Okay,
Whit, so set us up.
All right, so check it out. The Watchers. It's a M. Night Shyamalan, but not. He executive produces it. It's actually his daughter.
Yes, Ishana, my girl, if you're seeing this.
We have Dakota Fanning starring, and it starts out really creepily. It's giving a little bit of her traumatic past, and she encounters a wooded area that has a lot of mystic, fantastical things going on that she stumbles upon. And yeah, that's kind of a setup for it, huh?
That's pretty much it. Without giving anything away. That's as much as you can really say.
Let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Yes. So what initially pulled you in? What's your thoughts?
Oh, okay. I feel like it had a strong open. We start with this guy. Don't know who he is. He's running through the woods. He's seeing creepy, what look to be figures, but then upon closer inspection, they're like these signs with these cryptic messages like point of no return, and it's dark, and he is in a vast wooded area alone. There's crows, and it seems like he knows where he's at though, because he just immediately decides to climb a tree. And I'm pulled in there. I'm like, what is going on? It's dark. It's clearly ominous. And this guy knows not just that he needs to protect himself, but specifically that he needs to be high and be in this tree. He knows what his predator is. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Here we go. So that pulls me in. And then, yeah, I guess we'll piggyback off that. And what pulled you in? Did you like the opening?
Anxiety, right? Like, what is this guy doing? Why is he running through the woods? Like, what is the story behind this? What is he afraid of? But pushing forward in the movie, what pulled me in is just Dakota Fanning in general, right?
Yes.
I mean, we've kind of watched her grow up, and she's really good at spooky. I mean, in sci-fi. Like, we saw her in World of Worlds as a child with Tom Cruise, and just really selling the scariness of that. And we saw her in Hide and Seek, also just killing it in the fear. And then, a little side nod to like Twilight and being in the what is it called? El Tori?
Yeah.
Minori? What is that?
Let's go, girl.
Do you know what I'm
talking
about?
I don't know what it's called. No. I wasn't allowed to watch it as a kid. But I mean, I remember seeing
whatever
her.
that like vampire like elite thing
She was boss too.
That she was in, also scary in that. So like she has that knack for like horror. So I was excited and pulled in just seeing that she was at the top of the bill. Also just the fact like a Shyamalan.
Yes, a Shyamalan. Ishana Shyamalan.
Yes. And so I was pulled in pretty quickly. Our kind of nod to the bird Darwin, like wearing our little yellow.
Let's go, Darwin.
Darwin.
That's my guy.
And so, her just being donned with this bird and being like, "Can you take this bird to where it needs to go?" And the bird talking to her and being like, "Try not to die. Try not to die. Try not to die. Try not to die. Try not to die." To add to her character, like her like going in disguise, like why is she doing that? Like what is that? Like how does that deal with her character? It pulled me in.
Yeah, it pulled me in.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah,
you know.
Agreed.
Okay, so did you have a nope, a hell no, a jumpy cringe moment?
I don't know if it was jumpy, but it was definitely like a nope. Oh, hell no. It was when it started getting scary because it was a little like ominous. Her going to the club wearing a wig. I was like, ooh, weird. What is this going to connect to? But she stops off at a gas station, I think, to call her sister. And that's the first
She's
sign.
listening to a voicemail. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's listening to a voicemail from her sister. And that's like the first sign that we get. Like, not only is this girl going into the middle of nowhere by herself, but like she has no family. She is not healed from her mom's death in 15 years. And it's just like, okay, she's by herself. We see all these missing posters and she's in the middle of the woods. I know she's going to lose cell service. She's driving down that windy road off them cliffs. And I'm just like, not by myself, not with a bird as my companion, not alone. So that was kind of like my, oh no, hell no moment. Not for a job that's paying me less than $20 an hour. I'm not doing it.
Even just before that, when she's about to leave town and she's looking in the rearview mirror, a little bit breaking the
fourth wall.
The fourth wall a little bit. She's talking to the bird, but she's also talking to us like, what? Don't judge me. I just like to do that sometimes. And my first jump scare was like when she was in the woods and starting to get lost, and then you have the fog, which
we love fog.
And it just pans over and you see Madeline's face and she just sprints. Doesn't say a word, just sprints off into the distance. And then luckily Mina follows after her. She darted off.
She darted. She was going to leave Mina. Exactly. In the woods.
Exactly.
Trying to sprint. She said, no, enough food for all of us.
And then once she gets to the coop, Madeline's like, if you care for your life, you've got 5 seconds. 5. And she counts down 4, 3, 2. And luckily, Mina and Darwin, they make it.
Okay, so that leads us into the coop. What did you think about that?
Oh, I've got a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
I thought, one, it was funny that they only had one DVD of like some type of reality kind of Love Island type of show that they would have to watch on repeat, and some of them have been there for like months, and
it was giving Black Mirror-ish. I was like, that's weird.
Definitely. And just like the characters too, like you got Mina, you got Daniel, who was kind of like giving Carl from Shameless. I don't know, anybody else saw that, but like I'm like, okay, Carl, just chill out, Carl. And you have Kira, who's just like clearly a separated pair from dude from the beginning of the movie. Her husband.
I love how she's pointing out random things. She's like, my husband's really hot. You'll meet him.
Right. Yeah. And Madeline, who is clearly kind of like the leader. She's been there the longest. And also, we recognized her from Tarot.
Yeah.
She was also in Tarot.
I'm like, this is her bag. This is her bag.
And good for her.
Yeah, she's doing great.
She nails this type of character.
Yeah, make your money.
So, they're explaining the rules like very slowly. They don't like just come out with it. They're just like giving her like little tidbits at a time, like stand in front of this mirror.
Right.
They're gonna clap for you. They love new people. And she's like, who the fuck is they?
Who is they?
Like,
right. What kind of weird show is this?
Orchestrating this.
Yeah. Right. Like after I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm getting the applause, the first thing I'm asking, okay, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Who's running it? Why do I have to stand here? Or what are the rules to not die?
And then Mina, she's like trying to break all of them immediately because she's trying to test the boundaries. Like, she doesn't trust it. Yeah. Immediately, she's like, I'm out of here.
Right.
And they're like, you'll never make it. She learns slowly but surely, like, she can't break the rule. You can't go down into the burrows, or you can't steal a bicycle, or you can't turn your back to the mirror. They will. Right. You can't tap on the glass.
That was.
And then turn your back. Like,
I said, right. Did both
Scary.
things. I said, tap on the glass. That didn't even have to be a rule. That should be an unspoken. Girl, you trying to tempt? You heard what was out there?
And she's clearly testing like Madeline. She thinks that Madeline's like in
lying.
on it. And
or at least
like,
wanting
why
to
are
be
you
in
guys-
control.
Yeah, why are you guys listening to her? Like, do you actually know? So I like that she's questioning authority
I
and like
do.
kind of going against the grain, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
she's learning like,
Yeah,
oh no,
she's
this
new.
shit is real.
Yeah, and I like that they put that in. I like that
do too.
she did go
Testing
down in
the
the cave,
boundaries.
test it, like, because that's what any of us would do. I think, you know, after a couple days, I'm like, all right, y'all, I gotta figure this out. So I'm glad she went to the cave, and that was spooky.
She's like, yeah,
you
we
know?
don't have time to walk to the ends of
Yeah.
whatever boundaries, but
Right,
I have
so
a bicycle.
How can we work with what we got? And I did like that we got a little tidbit. It moved us forward with seeing something else, that hand go into the light, and it was like, oh shit, you know.
That moment though too, like, you know, she stole the bike, they've disrupted the burrow, and he's standing outside, and then she is in full belief because he's been gone for like
Yeah,
6 to 8 days at that point,
Right.
from the coup, and so she thinks like realistically maybe it is him.
right.
And then Madeline's like, you know, it's
Good.
not, it's not.
Yeah,
And so
she had no reason
I'm-
not to up until that point.
they put it in her head like, no, we need to test it. If you
Mhm.
really think it's him, test it. And she's like, what's my favorite book?
Right. He
And
didn't know.
he can't name it. And then when he puts the camera up even to his face, and it's like, help me.
She knew something was off, though, thankfully. And I will say, if it was me, and that was like the sound of my brother's voice, and I didn't know what they find out, I would have been like, y'all, he's a little weird. Maybe he's dehydrated. Like,
No, yeah.
so I was praying she didn't open that door, because if it were me, I might have.
that she had thought of something that only the real person would know. And I would have probably had the same frame of mind of like, okay, I've been here long enough to know that these things would try to trick me. So let me try to figure
Right.
out if this is actually the person I
Right.
think it is or not, by something only they would know.
Right. Because even if you don't know that what all they can do, you know they're intelligent enough to be watching a show and applauding and shit. So yeah, that's true. They have some level of like competence. So they're tricky. But it was confirmed, like, as much as we think, oh, I would do that, I wouldn't just sit there and follow the rules. She broke the boundaries, and it cost them. And I liked that put them back in their place, and they showed, you know, not the whole span of time, but they showed that kind of subdued her until winter came.
It was a lot of time that passed. You're
Yeah.
right. It was a lot of time that passed where they were like, okay, are you done like breaking the rules now? Like, can you believe us?
She said that shit. I said, okay.
But then it came to a point where like even like knockoff Carl was sick of
Yeah.
it. Daniel, like he like went after Madeline
Knock off, Carl.
and
Right.
and totally just like flipped everything on its head as he's locking them out. And Madeline and Mina have to find some sort of refuge, which I was like, how?
Right. I thought they
How?
were dead.
I thought like if you were not
Before.
inside there, you were going to die. So I didn't know this other rule of like if you find some roots to mask your scent, then maybe you can survive.
Right.
Which makes me think like
Madeline
maybe
holding out.
at the beginning, if Kira's husband would have made it up into the trees and not fallen down, would he have been okay?
And right, did he know that? And maybe he
Did he know
did.
that?
Yeah, and he was trying his best.
That was unclear. So they're hiding in the roots, and we see the creatures like fully for the first time. They like stand up and they're facing
Ooh.
away, and they're very slender
Mm-hmm.
and so
Silhouetted. That was a great moment, because it's hard. It's hard to show the thing and it not be corny.
spooky.
That was kind of sick, man, with the music too. In that moment, they were just like, whoa.
Yeah. So that was definitely a moment of I guess just enlightenment to the film of just
Mhm.
like, oh dang, these are what the creatures like actually are. Like you kind of like seen like a little bit of them up to this point, but you actually
Yeah.
see them full fledged.
Yeah,
That
reveal.
the reveal. Yeah. I guess the thing that threw me off is just these rules, right? Because like they broke every rule.
Yeah.
And nothing seemed to happen up until a certain point.
Yeah,
And
they
there's
did
like
break every rule.
days and months going by. But the thing that really tripped me up is that they are fully mapping out on the floor of the coop a map of the forest around them.
Yeah, like they're clearly, at least she's spending days going out as far as she can, coming back, going out. And I like that was the way that they didn't have to show all that.
Not only that, I'm saying that they're drawing it
Mm-hmm.
inside on the ground that they see, sleep, and are on every single day. But for some reason, they do not move this rug that they are drawing around until the glass is about to break from the monsters. And then they move the rug and notice that there's a door. They didn't
right, trying to push the table.
They didn't notice a door this whole time. As they're drawing a full map.
Yeah, for like
months.
Right, and that's months for Mina. That's over a year for Daniel and Kira. And God knows how long Madeline's been there. They ain't never moved that rug?
Never moved the rug. And they find this door to get to safety, find this underground bunker.
I like that twist. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, it was a good twist, but at the same time, I'm looking at the drawings around the fucking rug thinking like, all this time, they get down under there, they find the professor's recordings and learn more about the whole initiative and how he was bringing people from neighboring villages to construct this whole coup, and how he would just hide back down in the bunker while they were eating and then go out and find more people the next day to come back and do more construction. So weird and like really just
because at least he could have said he used the same construction crew for the whole thing, and then at the end of the build he was like, that's when I let him eat. But not 13 people a day for however long it would take to build something like that. Someone would have noticed that shit.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you keep the same crew, bring them underground with you, and be like, yeah guys, monster's crazy, huh? And then like, yeah, maybe if you're that heartless, like lock them out on that last day. You want to go out each day to find new people that these people don't have families.
They don't have family.
And nobody's coming to live for really?
That's not
a full
they didn't
crew?
have to do that. They just could have left that out, to be honest. Yeah.
Unlikely.
He could have sent them home before sunset, and then that last day left them out.
That too. He could have sent them home before sunset, or again kept them underground with him and like explained that oh, there's monsters, whatever. And then on that last day that he didn't need them anymore, even could have locked them in or locked them out of his bunker. But instead, he wanted to have them eaten each night so that he could go find new people. What sense does that make?
No.
Oh, like why did his last video was like, listen, there's a boat. If you travel this, that, and that, you can get to the boat. And you can get out of here and go to my office and burn everything.
Yeah, I like that out of nowhere, we have a video saying, if you're reading this, it's not too late, basically. And it's just like, that came out of nowhere for me. Like, you're building this place that's very reclusive. You're not expecting anyone to find it. You've killed anyone who's built it that could ever speak about it. And yet, in this video, you're like, if you're watching this, there's a boat. And you can get to the boat and then go to my office at the university and burn everything.
You know where the university is in your office. You know where the boat is.
Yeah, he could have just left and shut it down.
Why didn't you just do it? Why didn't you get on the boat and go and burn and do the things? Like, he's like, I got some business to do. And he goes and tries to shoot the thing. But it's like, you didn't.
Yeah. There's the reveal that he had captured a thing. The ambiguity of hearing the gunshots. The instant, because I will say, I felt like that was my all is lost moment that was my all is lost moment when Daniel locked them out. He disrupted the flow. He broke the rules and they came in, right? Oh, okay. For me, I was just like, it felt forced because I was having that all is lost moment of, okay, how are they gonna get out of this? They're in this room. I feel like I've seen it all. Ain't no way out. So I did like that gave us a way out, but it was forced.
Daniel was like, "Oh, we got enough food in here for years." I'm like,
right, like
here for years.
Right. And how not what a coincidence, but like how perfect timing. Like, and out of nowhere, no one found that for years. Now we're here.
Nobody lifted up that fucking rug.
Right.
Oh.
And then within one day, they followed his rules. They're out. And I was like, okay, cool. Because honestly, I thought the end of the movie was going to be them getting out of the forest. It was just going to be that mystery never solved. But she does go to the university. And although weird how it got us there, I'm glad we got out of the forest.
Right. We lost Daniel, but like I thought when they got on the bus that was going to be like a whole other thing, like maybe a ploy or something.
Like something was going to go down there.
Yeah. I didn't believe that once we were on the bus that was the end.
So I was like, is the bus gonna lose power as
like,
well?
Is it that easy? Like they just got on the boat and like now they're far enough away from the woods that they're safe now?
Right. Yeah. I feel the same. I was like, is the bus going in the right direction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we learn about Le Professeur, and she pretends to be his niece, good old Uncle Rory, and gets all the scoop, gets all the info. I like that moved us forward. Honestly, I will say, despite all of the little, like a couple weird isms, it did have me engaged the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it easily led from one act to the next.
Yeah, so she's at the university. She's going through all this documentation, all these articles of just things, and comes across a picture of Madeline in a news article about how she was married to the professor and passed away.
Right.
Years prior, decades prior. And so she knows now that something's up with Madeline, like obviously.
Right.
And
I didn't see that coming.
Her first thought is to go and warn Kira, the other lone survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Why she didn't call Kira? Why they didn't exchange numbers?
Right. We living in a day and age.
Don't know.
Where you have to physically go.
But she gets an Uber and she goes and she's like, yeah, I think this is the place.
Yeah, she can still use her phone to call an Uber and get there.
And doesn't ask the Uber to like, hey, maybe hang back like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Right. I'll tip you big. I'll give you $50 if you just hang back for a little bit.
Or like shit's going down.
Call the police if I'm not back in 30 minutes. Call the police.
Right. So anything.
Doesn't think to say that.
Lots of trust.
So she goes up to Kira's place, which she believes is Kira's place, and goes in, talks to Kira, and then Kira is like, no, Madeline would have told us if she was married to the professor. Little does Mina know that she's talking to Madeline, who has disguised herself as Kira. Because Kira pulls up in the driveway, and then Kira comes in unsuspecting, like, what are you doing in my house? And then Madeline is on the fucking ceiling behind Kira.
Right.
Slams her fucking head into the wall.
Because now all of a sudden she can be on ceilings.
She's a fairy after all.
She's a fairy after all. We have learned.
Good night, Kira. And then, so then Madeline's just morphing into... She morphs into Daniel. She morphs into Kira's husband. She morphs into Madeline.
Which I thought that was cool.
It definitely.
Like, from a director's standpoint.
And she morphs back into... She morphs back... No.
She morphs
into Mina.
Yeah.
And is standing on the other side of a glass window with Mina, and Mina just opens the fucking door, opens the window.
She's like, all right, fuck it, let's go, bitch.
Face to face with her.
Yeah. And I like that because I feel like that's the part where the mental games start to play, right? It's like if she's not going to physically take her out, she just starts gaslighting the hell out of her. She's like, you are the reason your mom died. It is all your fault. Basically just trying to make her feel terrible about herself. And I thought that was a really dark and dope move because it's like you're dealing with something that has the ability to morph. Okay, so we interrupt your regularly scheduled program because the files for our ratings were lost. So I just got back from Boston. Whitney is in Indiana, and Whitney was doing the editing for this episode, and we realized we don't have our ratings. We don't know where they went. So we decided to do an impromptu, just recording virtually so that we could still do the ratings for this episode.
Yep, that's right. So, yeah, we're gonna do our ratings real quick for you guys.
Yes.
Ratings in three, two, one, 6.5.
7.
All right,
Yes.
sounds about right.
7 for watchers. I think if I can remember right, I think that's what I originally gave it.
Yeah,
It was a couple months ago.
I think that's what I gave it to, 6.5. But yeah, okay, so why a 7 for you?
A 7 for me because I liked the psychology around the ending. I thought it was really cool that they kind of tapped into the doppelganger thing and tapped into like really going there with the insecurities and kind of just talking down to her to kind of get her mentally. I was like, oh, that's clever. I also didn't expect the ending to be what it was. I thought the movie was going to be over when they were in the bus heading out the forest. So I thought that was really cool. It's hard to like wrap things like this up. And so I was like, okay, because I was really on the edge of my seat the whole time too. I was wondering what these creatures looked like. I didn't think they were corny in any way. Like I thought the CGI was really cool too. So yeah, for me a 7 plus anything in the Shyamalan family.
Yes, that is a main point for me as well. 6.5. Just what is her name again? Ishana.
Yes, yes.
Ishana Shyamalan. Her debut film. I thought it was wonderful. The aesthetics of it all, just like the pops of color, it was really beautifully shot. Dakota Fanning just being a
Yeah.
scream queen herself, like she knocked it out of the park. Um, Were there some like plot holes and was I turning my head at some points? Yeah. I don't think I'll ever get over that, the rug incident and the fact that they do the around the rug and just didn't see this door for all that time. But yeah, I thought it was I saw it in theaters. It definitely had me jumping. I was engaged the whole time. How they wrapped it, I mean, Mina doing the whole reveal. Um, to God, what is her name? Not Miranda. Why can't I think of her name right now?
Oh, the girl whose husband was lost, right? I can't remember her name either, but I'm sure we said it in the episode. The black girl.
No, I'm saying like Mina revealing to the fairy, like, hey, by the way, you're a hybrid creature. That's why you've never like you felt
Oh.
out of place. And then it's just like I did have questions like, okay, so the professor, did he trap this fairy and train it to look like his wife? Or like, what was that about?
Right. Like, was he showing it pictures of his wife the whole time?
Yeah, and then it just forgot. I don't know. It's been a
Okay.
minute since I've watched the movie, but I definitely was just kind of like, huh, okay. I mean, it was a cool reveal. It was a cool reveal that she was a hybrid fairy human,
Yeah.
and not accepted by the other fairies, and just like was
Right.
trying to get out of the forest and was able to live amongst the humans was kind of the end of the movie. And I thought that was like a cool wrap up. Yeah. So yeah, 6.5 for me.
Agreed. Agreed. I'm a sucker for shots. Slightly, for me, shots come slightly before plot. And I think for you, you like the plot more. Like you got to have less holes to get the higher rating.
Yeah,
It's good to know. That's good to know.
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. It's a long one, The Watchers. And, enjoy the green fairy drink. It's
Yes.
got absinthe in it. It's Patty's first time drinking that. Definitely
Yeah.
had me weird and dropping some F-bombs towards the end, so I apologize for that. Absinthe got me a little, you know?
Yeah, just so y'all know, my dreams were weird that night, man. They were weird. It was like weird. But fun. But fun. So please enjoy the drink. Drink responsibly. Absinthe is one of the stronger ones. So,
Trip, for sure.
yeah.
All
All right,
right.
guys. Well, thanks for sticking around this long. All the cinephiles that made it through to the end.
Mhm. Yeah. Good for us, Burton and Burton out.
We out.